Welcome back. Yes, as you've seen there, we've got Professor Pius Olanrewaju here with us. He is the President and Chairman of Council of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria. Good morning, and thank you for coming on today.
It's a pleasure being on your program this morning.
Yes. Now, you'll be having your conference, the 17th one, coming up beginning today. And I see that you're talking about economic growth and things like that, which is what we need at this point in time, given the challenges that the country seems to be grappling with. So, I know you must have heard several times in terms of the talks, the conferences, people want to see action as well. So give us a broad perspective for this particular session, this conference. What do we expect, and how is it going to impact us as a country?
Yes, the 17th CIBN banking conference is a unique one, and it is on record that most of our program has been very, very unique. This conference, is the largest, banking and finance conference in Africa. And it's not only limited there. In most cases, most of the communique and the issues that were raised, we followed it up and make sure that at all times, the implementations, to us is very, very key in whatever we are doing. If you cast a retrospective glance, for example, of the last year's conference, we raised some fundamental issues that we believe that can help build a sustainable growth within the economy. Issues like issue of recapitalization. And lo and behold, this year, you'll find out that it's now on board. And we raised the issue of the need for us to be more ethical within the system, which is also very, very unique to us. We did all this. And this year now, we are now saying that we want to accelerate, the rate of economic growth, the state of play, and the way forward. You will bear with me that there has been some challenges in recent times, but these challenges are not unsurmountable. We run an institute that we believe that we have enough capable hands and professionals who can make a change in some of the things we are doing here. And if you look at some of the sub-team, it's also very important that one of the issues that is very critical within the system is the issue of Jakpa and Jakpada, which we have introduced. Last year, we came with an idea that we cannot just we can't prevent somebody from traveling. The best you can do is replicate, those things. And we came up with an idea, and we were able to gather some money, and we are building a special banking academy. So that as those people are going, it will be win-win situation. By the time they're over there, they make money, and because of affinity to our roots in Africa, so money will come in by way of diaspora. I mean,
I've been listening to, I've been reading up on news, and a few of the things that the CIBN have been doing. The CIBN had this human capital retention fund. You've gotten 300 million from banks on that. And then, of course, you mentioned it just now, skill exportation and brain gain. In the light of our economic challenges right now, how does the CIBN intend to help in this situation, especially when it comes to human capital development?
Yes, like I did mention, what we have done is that we have acquired a place in Abeokuta, which we will start development is we soon commence there, where we believe that it's not just about talking, it's about putting into reality, into action, some of those ideas, some of those things we have talked about. And we will intend to make sure that school, already the trustee had already set up the trustee. And the trustee will make sure that we have the state-of-the-art facilities there. And beyond that, we are not even limited to that, because that seems to be a location in the state. But you look at our antecedent and pedigree about educational banking development, for the past 2-3 years, we have been building what we call legacy projects in most of the, in all the 6 geopolitical zones, and some additional, as we are talking, we have 9 different legacy projects with the state-of-art theater in all these tertiary institutions. Anytime we are running the program, like this program that is coming, this conference now, all those centers are linked with us digitally, and they will be seeing exactly what we are doing. And we believe that if you are able to catch them very young and you expose them like that, and they're in tune with the reality of the time, then you are building for the future. And our future is the future of the industry is very critical to us.
Could you shed a little more light on this? I mean, what is it that the banking sector has done? Because when a lot of those young folks left for greener pastures, the sector felt the pinch. So what has been done to ensure that probably if that were to happen again, you have the next set of people who are going to fill this void or the space such that they won't feel that sector or that pinch or that hole like they did the last time?
like I mentioned a few minutes ago, I said there is the banking academy that is being put in place, jointly be financed by all the financial institutions. In fact, contribution had already been made to that effect. Then again, you need to engage the youth, you understand? We have been doing that. We have a GenZ program now, apart from this conference. We have a GenZ special program slated for October, where we educate and where we expose them and things they can do. You know, there is always a misconception that when you are in the bank, you can only work in the banks alone. But with the emergence of fintech and some other subsidiary institutions that are springing up within the ecosystem, we believe they be in a position. And again, we have come to realize that in most cases, some of us will be saying government is not doing this, government is not doing that. We are going beyond that. And we are saying that bankers can work in the Ministry of Budget and Planning. Bankers can work in CIBN. Bankers can work in all these institutions. And we are reaching out to them. And it will surprise you that we are getting positive results from them.
I'm pretty interested in that GenZ program.
Yes.
You know, not so you repeat what you just said. I want to be able to go into the intricacies of it. Where are you getting the Gen Zs from? Are you going to schools? You know, how is the conversation happening?
As at today, as we are talking, like I said, we knew that something like this will happen in the future, and we're already preparing for the future. And like John Scholar says, he said the future belongs to those people who can see opportunity before they manifest. What we did some years ago when I was the chairman of the capacity building is for us to go to the secondary school. As we are talking about, we are linked with about 72 institutions, tertiary institutions within the country. So the catchment is already there. When we are doing a program, this Gen Z program, all those people will be linked. Then again, like I did mention, we had already, as of today, built 7 state-of-the-art theater in 9 tertiary institutions across the geopolitical zone of this country. Those people will be linked. Then again, we have an understanding with Lagos state government, because the last one was in Lagos, and we may replicate in the other states, but this year again is going to be in Lagos. We reached out to the state government. We reached out to the NYC, where all the NYC in Lagos they were mobilized for that program. In fact, we recorded over 8,700 student participants last year. And I can tell you this year is going to be double that figure.
Is it free?
It's free. It's free. The irony of it is that it's free. Yes, we believe it's part of our corporate social responsibility.
What kind of training are these?
The training is that we bring people who have achieved in that industry. We also bring people from diverse backgrounds, to come and talk to them, to motivate them. And in fact, that last year we discovered a lady that was more or less, that all of us keep on celebrating now. It's already working with some of the subcommittees of the institute. So we want to discover them, we want them to interact, we want them to know exactly what is going on, not only within their narrow environment, but within the global scene.
So what do you look out for? Because, if people are coming for that training, of course, they want to get a job afterwards. Yeah. Nobody wants to finish training and go back home. If I were there, I would like to see what's my next step. So what is it that you'll be looking for anyone who wants to have a chance to probably get into the banking and finance sector?
Like I said, this is a program that is being organized by an umbrella institution within the banking system. And when that system is being put in place, all banks, MDs are part of us. All HR of all the academies are part of us. And because we are in a position to accredit them, we indeed accredited them, some of them, all of them will be there. So that's where they source those people that we feed into their various academy, many of them. And we do a kind of, we make sure that we have, a comprehensive list of those who participate in that program and what are their career paths, what can they do. Then we bring about people who within their school, within their area, who has achieved feat of securing good job and making their mark within the industry. So these are the things that we believe will go a long way in motivating them.
If I studied any course,
yes,
anybody can go there, whichever course you did.
You will reorientate
as long as you have the passion.
Yes, the passion is the most important thing. But preference will be given to those people who have the knowledge. But experience has taught us. Experience has taught us that even people with diverse background do excel, because it's all about saying, I want to make a mark. And we will bring people. There are MDs of banks today that were engineers. You understand? Yeah. And they are doing quite well. So, yes.
Let's go to the banking sector itself.
Yes.
Because the last conference you had, one of the things that you talked about was ethics.
Yes.
In the banking sector. And banks have come under a lot of criticism recently. you know, many people believe in that, well, banks are not doing actual banking. Many people are just doing forex business here and calling it banking. And then, of course, the unbanked in Nigeria and all of these issues, especially when it comes to ethics and the ability to provide the services that they charge customers for. How is the CIBN, you know, looking into that? I mean, I know you clamored for it in the last conference. What has happened since then?
A lot has happened. And again, when you look, I came in on the 17th of May, 17th of May 2024. And I have an agenda, I call it the legacy agenda. The E in that agenda, because the L talks about leading an innovative banking system. And the E, if I stop at that, is ethics, professionalism, and integrity. We want to entrench it. We want to entrench ethics. There is ethical. One thing we must realize about banking system is that the banking is also part of a main system. It's a microcosm or the macrocosm. You understand? So banks, the people we are going to source, they are Nigerians. The people who are going to work there are Nigerians. The people, we are part of the system. And we all know that the system, the way it is now, there is corruption. Unless we don't want to call it spade a spade. And in banking, we realize this. When you are recruiting somebody, it's not easily possible for you to say this one is going to thief. You understand? We bring them in, and what we have done over the years is to introduce ethical training. Because some of them will tell you that my Oga said I should do this, and that's why I did it. They without any justification. When there are ethical dilemmas, how do they solve it? So we created through the effort of the CBN, we came up with an area to go with ethics certification, which is compulsory for everybody in the bank on a yearly basis. You have to go for that ethics training. Beyond that, during my tenure, in my agenda, we want to entrench it, and I believe that the greatest way to do that is to make sure that you yourself, you are an embodiment of ethics. When you are, you'll be able to speak out. When you sound professionally, you will also be able to talk about skill. When you have integrity, then you can, propagate integrity. And I have made up my mind that for our team, that we call it legacy team, we are determined, and that we are going to be an epitome, of integrity within the industry. And that is exactly the hallmark of CIBN.
How do you work against people recruiting some people based on favoritism, for instance?
Yes, maybe it's an opportunity for me to just tell you the whole what legacy is all about. I told you that the L is leading, an innovative financial system. E, entrenching ethics and this thing. Then the G there is about gender. You understand? Generational and geographical diversity. And we are intentional. What I did is that charity will begin at home. In our institute today, if you go there, even in the composition of my committee, all the geopolitical stones were represented for the very first time. And we make sure that, also that women are taking commanding hearts. When some of those entered into the industry some years ago, you can easily count the number of women that are executive in banks. But today, more than 12 of them are chief executive. The last two, when you look at Guaranteed Trust and everything, and Senate Bank, you know that they're women. So we are being conscious about it. Also, we are also looking at the geographical diversity. It's very, very key, because there is no settle of this nation that you don't have brain. People are very talented and expert. So there must be conscious effort. As an institute, we are saying we want to make a conscious effort to redress what an anomaly that has been in the system and set a pace. And we have been doing that on several occasions. If you look at our election, it's the second to none in this country. And during my presentation, I made it abundantly clear that Nigeria should learn from CIBN. And yes, and that's the truth.
So I want to be able to, because I'm seeing a few questions that people have, and I want to be able to on YouTube, on the YouTube. So keep sending. It's good that you do. It helps us out. People want to know if this, because I remember the direct sales agent situation, has that been scrapped from the banking sector now?
The
direct sales agents, temporary staff in the banking sector. Has this been scrapped? Because that was the call for it to end.
Yeah.
It has been scrapped.
I won't say totally it has been scrapped, because you find out that you look at the ecosystem today, things like driving and some other auxiliary services are still being contracted out. You understand? But call any like I said, when you put somebody who has little or no experience You pay the price. You understand? Even some of this fraud, I was fortunate to be the chairman of the tribunal. The tribunal, the CIBN tribunal has a coordinate jurisdiction, like a high court. I realized some years ago when I was that chairman, trying to try some people. Many of them escaped on the ground that they were not members. You understand? And I made a representation. I made a representation to the body of past CEO of banks and also to CBN. And CBN gave a directive that henceforth everybody working in the industry must be a staff of that something. And I believe with that, gradually we build their skills and everything to be able to solve that problem.
That actually keyed into what was coming next. Because the fraud situation.
Too many questions.
Hacking of bank accounts. And these things, they've become so popular. It's unbelievable how crazy it has become. Is there anything the CIBN can do or is doing in this regard? Because the reason why that DSA question, direct sales agents question, came was because it was found out that many people who engage in these activities are from the temporary staff pool. So let's talk a little bit about what's happened since then. What kind of measures is the CIBN looking at to reduce the levels of bank hacking, accounts hacking that we're facing in this country?
The truth of the matter is it takes two to tango. I want to be honest with you. What you have come to realize is that most of these things are as a result of the problem being created by the customers and people. A lot of people today, we have to give their passwords to their maid, to their driver, to this to go and make a withdrawal. The moment you give you leave that gap, you have created problem within the system. Because these are things that is scientific. Press 1, 2, 3. You get access to the something, and the person press it, and he has the number. So you find out that one of the things we have been doing is advocacy. Advocacy, and we have been doing that consistently. Advocating, telling the customer that do not trust anybody with your account. You understand? Anybody that we have, because when they have access to you, they can take any money from you. Then over and above that, then we are aware that some people, because of lack of skill, the Bible even tells us that my people perish for lack of knowledge. We believe that the knowledge is increasing. We have put a certification in place to be able to address this so that bankers can come and enhance their knowledge, because the knowledge you had some years ago is no longer relevant. What was orthodox is that is not heresy today. So these are some of the things we have put in place. And moreover, we have been warning our corporate members that, look here, this issue of cybercrime is an international problem. It's not limited to Nigeria, But we are saying that you effort the most, rather than working in silos, let them work together to be able to see how they can, put in place a very robust platform that will checkmate the activity. But all over the globe, I can tell you without missing my word that there is nowhere where these infractions are not taking place. So our decision is that we are making effort in the right direction to ameliorate it and make sure that, and also to sensitize, our customer and the public that there are some rules that must be obeyed. When you disobey those rules, then there is always...
interesting point you make there, Prof, on that particular. But I got one more on that fraud matter.
That fraud matter.
Yeah, it's
a very dicey
one. Serious one. and that's because, Prof, in addition to what you mentioned, which, yes, people need to be cautious. Don't give out your details, your password, just anyhow, because if you do, you're opening yourself up. But there's another one that seems to happen, which we've seen a lot of complaints. For instance, if, assuming my first name and last name, so what they do, they can take my first name, for instance, the last 4 letters in my first name, L-A-I-N. So they do L-I-N, first name, and then surname remains the same. So if I were in a particular bank, they open an account in that same bank with that name. So if you don't know my name properly, you will think that's me. So they take it, start sending to people, and start saying, oh, we're involved in an accident, we need it. So, and then when you write to those banks, response time is too slow.
Absolutely.
For months, and then they are making money. You can't stop the account. So what do you do about that kind of scenario?
The effort is being put in place. I'm aware of this kind of challenges you're talking about. I've heard about it. And we believe that, like I said, we are running a system whereby as to solve one problem, those people, the hackers, move to the next level. So you have to be moving with them to checkmate their activities and everything. But nevertheless, we are also
this
working.
One looks like they work with the banker.
Yes. No. What the point I'm trying to make is that if you look at leading cases in law of banking, which I'm quite familiar with, you will realize that there is what we call duty of secrecy. When somebody opens an account, it's very difficult for you to divulge it to a third party unless there are exceptions. The exceptions are maybe when they ask you to divulge that information, or maybe the interest of the government or something like that. So we are between the bussy and the devil. You understand? So we need to be careful, and we are working on something on our own because, like I said, we are quite conversant with what is going on in the environment. We are working on a system to link with the regulator and see when we get such a thing. Maybe an alarm to raise an alarm to stop that account temporarily. Yeah. But the way it is now, when you look at the legal framework we have, you cannot just stop somebody's account, especially when everything there seems to be okay. Otherwise, you'll be running foul of the law.
Prof, I think we'll make our time to talk about this one later because there's a lot of things that I want to talk about on that particular one because, it's what concerns that they focus on. But the economic growth.
Yes.
This is a very important part. Yes. So talk to us about this economic growth component of your conference. So
very, very
what are you going to address about that?
We have 4 major key areas we want to address as far as that is concerned that are very, very important to us. We want, like I said, the issue of Japa and Japada. We want to make people to have making right choices. You understand? But many people who just jump into this Japa something, they don't know exactly what it entails. We need to sensitize them. We need to do this. It's part of the sub-team of this conference. 2, also the issue of diversifying foreign exchange sources of earning. The sources of our earning, foreign exchange. It used to be what we are running now is like a monocultural economy, depending on oil and everything. And we have been crying for years. We want to exploit the possibility, using the instrumentality of this discourse, to discuss around other alternatives that can help the system and bring in foreign exchange. Then thirdly, we are looking at unlocking new possibilities, especially in the area of AI and innovation, so that we believe that people globally are going to the area of technology and everything. Let us also see how we can leverage on that. And currently, we are not doing badly, even within the banking system, even within the technology environment. But we want to enhance it and discuss and bring experts, from both the academia, the professionals within Nigeria and outside Nigeria to talk about this. And more importantly, we want to look at, apart from repositioning those AI something, we want to look at repositioning the Nigerian financial system so that we can contribute meaningfully to the socio-economic development of the country. These are some of the sub-teams, and we believe that if we are able to get these 4 key areas right, the economy it may not be able to reach the destination immediately. At least we will be making appreciable progress, because what we need is sustainable progress. And I believe that at the end of this conference, and taking the pedigree and the antecedent of CIBN, when this conference is concluded, you can be sure that the communique will be in place. And moreover, when you look at the caliber of people that are coming within Africa and Nigeria, the president of Congo is already, I was being whispered to that is already at the airport. The vice president of Liberia, and you know that Nigeria, as of today, CIBN is the one regulating banking system in about 7 countries in Africa. So all of them are coming. The president has also volunteered to be around. If it's not geographically, somebody top-ranking officer will be there. The VP is coming because VP is our own.
So that's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity.
Is the CBN going to say, look, governments, Nigerians don't fit this policy. Some of these policies may need to be tweaked here, there, and that kind of scenario.
The experts that are coming, like I said, we'll
talk about our policies.
The experts that are coming will talk dispassionately.
Oh, nice.
So what you need to do is to participate in that program. Come for that program.
Yeah, I'd like to.
And see exactly. They are experts, and we are not just talking. We are not just want to be condemning. The CIBN, we believe that let us lay the cards clearly on the table.
And let us at economic growth. I don't want us not to talk about this. There's the issue of indiscriminate charges, especially when it comes to business owners. We're looking at economic growth. So many people believe that these charges are some sort of bottleneck that stops them from the growth and development that they need for their businesses. That's something that's going to be.
Even from the perspective of banks?
Yes, from the perspective of banks.
That may not be the truth. Do you know that, like I said something, one of the things that is not known by most people is that we believe that bank is the banking system is operating in isolation. We are within the system. Those instruments that the bank use today, how many of us are thinking about the cost? I interact with, some of these high-ranking officers, and I know the challenges they're facing. In even importing cars, do you know the cost of cars 5 years ago? I mean, even 2 years ago, and the cost now. Things are increasing. You understand? What we are praying is that if we are able to build a very robust economy, because our greatest problem is in two ways, by my own understanding and knowledge of as a finance lawyer, is that we have a problem of corruption. Let all the leakages, let it be blocked. Two, let people run peg in the round hole. Let people who have the knowledge occupy the commanding height of our system. And I believe if we are able to do that, things will pick up. We weren't like this at the time, but banks, we are very optimistic that the future is bright.
All right, there's so many areas to touch, but because, you've spoken about some very interesting things that will happen at that conference, which I think lots of people look forward to participating and benefiting from. So we had to wish everyone all the best on that one. But maybe subsequently, we can look at, you also spoke about the CSR. Yes. For companies. Yes. They need a lot of information, corporate governance, how do they attract finance to their businesses. But these are areas that I'm sure if people come to that conference, they will benefit. So we have to thank you and wish you all the best as you hold that. How many days will this conference be?
It's just 10th and 11th.
Oh, where's it holding?
It's holding at, of course, by our standards, it's going to be Transcorp.
Okay.
Congress.
So you know the standard.
Yes.
Yes. Professor Pius Olanrewaju is the president and chairman of Council, Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria. So Gen Z, they've got a lot for you. So don't miss out on that one. I wouldn't if I were you.
Starting this evening.
Oh, okay. Nice.